Good morning and welcome to DualiTEA. I'm your host, Akasha, and I'm here with our special guest, Impact. Welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And today we are talking about how to be the person you always needed and different aspects and facets of the creative community, as we are both here at Hub 17, both having a show here at Hub 17. Mm-hmm. I thought it was really awesome. You know, I seen your show and I was like, this looks so dope. I really want to see the person who's behind it, and I would love to meet and like kind of chat and see if you'd be open to be on the show. So thank you so much for being open and being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Oh my goodness, it's an honor. I'm kind of famous now. You know, I'm on the DualiTEA Podcast, so you know.
We're out here, yeah. I mean, you know, you have your own thing, and it's like I think it's important too for the people who are behind the camera to get in front of the camera, so that you guys can get your much due respect and credit for all the work that you put in. Like, people don't know the hours and the time that goes into all of the crafts, especially like video editing, picture editing, all of these different aspects. So it's like it's only right that you guys get some screen time too, and not have to worry about the other end.
That's true. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's definitely a different experience being in front. Now I'm like, like I'm usually used to making the person look good, and now I'm like, now it's my turn.
Yep.
So, you know.
I feel that it's like. Although I haven't done particularly like photography and things like that, I have, in majority of the things that I've done in my life, where it's always in the back, and like we kind of talked about that when we were outside. Like I would be in the back, in the back of the sescenes, and like nobody really knew I was like kind of orchestrating certain things, or like groups or shows or ceremonies, whatever it was, because I was so shy, and I'm like, I don't want to be in the front. Like, I want people to see me. I don't want to, you know, speak or like be up in here and like be looked at by people, especially not like now. It's like funny because it's like live thing. And it's every Wednesday. This is just like the life, and it's like, how do we get over those humps? It's like just doing it, you know. And you're over here and you're doing it too, and it's just like, you know. So thank you for that.
Of course. Man, I mean. You doing it, man. I'm trying to get like you. I'm trying to get like you, where people just tune in and they're like, yo, like, you know, just so I can kind of spread the good energy around, you know.
Yeah. Well, we all find our flow. I mean, it took me a while to even get a certain consistency, trial and error, and then also different phases. Like, you know, this actual podcast wasn't of my full creation. This was something that a friend of mine, Ariel, shout out to Ariel for having the idea to do a podcast and asking me to do it with her, and then kind of curating that space to do it. And once that was being done, it was like it felt really good, and we had our few episodes, and then she was just like, it wasn't in alignment for her, and she was like, I feel like I was supposed to kind of like set you up for this and you do it, you know. And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, that's crazy, you know. So yeah, it's now then it was another phase of another person, another podcast host, and in both of that and both of these phases and these processes, like there wasn't a set consistency, maybe a little bit with Ariel, but when Nev and I were doing the podcast, it wasn't really like it was like when we felt it, we were doing it. It was like, you know, he was Gemini, I'm a Cancer / kind of like Gemini placements, whatever the case is, and we were just very like unstructured about it. And it worked for what it was, you know, but it wasn't that continuous. It's good. Things are good to be, I feel, the masculine energy, which we all have, masculine, feminine, you know, the polarities, if you want to call it something else, if you're more comfortable calling it something else is one thing. But I mean, just very much so like the curves and the straight lines. So when I say that, it's like when we have the structure, like the structure and the safe space to just go and do whatever we want. Like the podcast, the structure is Wednesday at 10:30, I'm here at Hub. And so that's like the masculine aspect, the like protection aspect, the structure aspect, and then like the more feminine aspect is like, we'll have words written down, but we don't have scripts, you know, and it's not, it's very like impromptu. We're in the moment, it's happening. So, yeah, I say to anybody who's doing any project, it's just like, don't give up and just keep doing it. Find what works and what makes sense. Leave out what doesn't, you know, so, and you're doing an awesome job in general too. Like, thank you. You know, your show, if you want to talk a little bit about your show and what it is, like, what your whole intention was in doing it and how you go about it.
Oh well, my show is Impact Sessions. So what we do pretty much is I like to hear everybody. You know, there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of great people on Staten Island, and I feel like we don't get showcased a lot because we kind of end up on the sidelines when it comes to anything. You know, and there's a lot of some of the best people that I have had on the show, and like after the session, I'll tell them, I'm like, how have I never heard about you before? And I feel like there's always like that. I don't know, like it's like a weird energy around Staten Island when it comes to, I guess, people linking up or creatives kind of doing their thing here. And it's like, it's either people don't, I guess, want to help with like bringing, the platform to life, or just, I don't know. I don't know. It's been weird. It's been a weird energy for because I always hear everybody talk about, oh, yo, we need something where it's like somebody just putting somebody on so that we can, we can get this music out, we can get this out, so we can show Staten Island. It's really a place where we do things here. We create things. It's not just however the other people perceive us. It's it's artists. It's art in the sense of drawing, art in the sense of just whether it's content creation, camera work, or just anything. Even what you do. What you do is very valuable to the community. Somebody always will be. Somebody will always need it. Somebody is always going to tune in and say, you know what, like I want to hear what Ash has to say, because it's worth it. What you do is not a waste, But topic. I'm sorry. My show pretty much. Well, to keep it simple, I want to showcase you. Like I want to hear what you have to say, and I feel like the best way to do that is to kind of just get them in here. And I always tell people, I say, listen, I want you to be you, right? Because they always ask you, oh, well, how you want me to stand, basic stuff like that, which is fine. I'll tell them where to stand and stuff like that. But when they're like, okay, so how do you want me to like move? And I'm like, listen, you move how you move, because when people see this, it's a reflection of you. I want when your family, when your friends, your homies, whoever comes to look at you, whatever, I want them to say, yeah, that's so and so, because when he performs around us, he's comfortable. And that energy, it really translates on camera. Like you can tell when somebody is like, when they got to do it, and it's like, okay, they didn't have much input versus like, they would just kind of vibe and be like, oh yeah, just, do their thing. So that way I really enjoy seeing people in the comfortable space, and I try to make that as much as a friendly environment as possible. And, thanks to the hub, we were able to kind of make that a reality.
Yeah. Shout out to Kenny.
Shout out to Kenny. Big time shout out to Kenny.
Yeah. It's you're doing a similar kind of process in your own way. You're like creating that safe space for people to like be themselves. Right. And it's important that there's these different areas in the community that people can do that. It's like you were saying how like sometimes it's difficult for people to link. I mean, pre-pandemic, we're talking to link and or to share music and space where it feels safe. Right. There's a lot of, it's like there is spaces, but they don't always feel so good to share in the sense of like inviting, rather. Right. It could be very competitive, and that's like anything, any industry, like especially like music industry and, some creatives and everything, really. It's like even spirituality, you wouldn't think that there would be competition, but there absolutely is, and, that there's definitely ego, whether it's like acknowledged or not, or bypassed. It's definitely something that exists, and you see it all around. And something that we were unpacking and like getting into, and we had a previous podcast, like we literally when we met,
we need to talk about that, because man, we had the show before the show.
We did.
What I mean?
We really did. We were like sitting right outside Hub, just macking in the red chairs, like just had the whole podcast, and we were just like, wow.
If we ain't had to stop, I would have kept going forever.
And something we were talking about is like, wow, I just forgot. That's crazy. It'll come back. But we were talking about a few different things when we were outside. What were we talking about?
Well, one is definitely
competition.
Competition.
Okay. Yes,
and the ego.
Okay.
The ego.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. When we were saying, okay, so yeah, the competition. That's the thing that we were going into and saying, like, there really is like competition is an illusion. It's a construct. It's another thing that is created to separate us and to just, it's an illusion. At the end of the day, it's like no one can ever be you. You can be singing and rapping. Another person can be singing and rapping. They're not going to sound like you. You know, unless obviously there's like cases where someone's taking your material, which is different than in competition. That's like a whole different topic. You know, the same thing goes, like, you can be a Reiki practitioner, another person can be doing Reiki, like, but you can appreciate that person, be like, wow, that person embodies a certain medicine, a certain energy, that, like, someone might resonate with. Same thing with art. Someone's art style might resonate with somebody more, than another person that, you know, you might need a cartoon artist to, like, help you, or, like, a comic book artist to help you create a comic book. You know, you're not going to have, like, a realist artist in that particular area unless that was the energy and the thing that you were looking for. So with that being said, that applies everywhere. And I feel like, and something that I've always, like, felt, it's interesting because it's, like, now I'm starting to get into, like, music myself. But, like, prior to that, I've never even, like, considered it, because I would always be at these different events to go support my friends that were musicians, or, you know, however it was. And I would be there, and it was just so much. A lot of times people ask me if I was an artist. And I'm like, I am in my own way, but, like, nah, I'm not about to go up on stage right here.
Of course not.
They're like, oh, when are you going up? I'm like, I'm not. Like, what are you talking about? Why are you asking me that? I'm in the corner, like, for a reason. But whatever. I don't know what it was. But that was something that was happening, like, a lot. And I would look around and just watch, like, it's two completely different energies. It's either you see people that are, like, so supportive, that are, like, riders, like, for whoever it is. Like, it's just like they're rocking. Like, if someone's on stage, like, they're singing everywhere. They're there. Of course, yeah. They up in the bed, they're like, and it's a whole vibe. But, like, or it's just like stink. Like, and it's that, and they very rarely see the in between, and that's so intimidating, you know? And I was just, like, you know, praying for, like, keeping, like, good intention, or whatever, lack of better words, just, like, for the people that I was going to see, you know, like, have that confidence to go up there. I would be so scared. You know, like, do your thing. Don't look at anybody. Don't view anybody, you know, in that way. And it's like, you know, healthy competition is okay if you're doing, like, you know, sports or whatever, but it's like, no one could ever be you. How many nail salons exist right next to each other? How many hair salons exist right next to each other? There's always going to be somebody who's going to go to that place because they like the way somebody does their work, or they're going to go to another place because they like the way the shop is, whatever the case is. So it's like, there is so much room, and there's so much abundance everywhere for people to do the things that they need to do. And why not just encourage people rather than be intimidated? Because it's like, once you start feeling into that, it's like, what are you actually afraid of? Like, or is it coming from, like, a worthiness place? Like, you don't feel like what you're doing is good enough. And then that could come from a completely different space that has nothing to do with the other people in the competition. That's something true. That could be looked at. Yeah.
You know, I always believe that, you know, people always compete because, you know, like you said, but they feel like that there's not enough. But it's like, you know, everybody can grow. And, you know, like, if you're trying to build a platform, right, you need as many people as you can on it, right? So why gatekeep, and why say, oh, you're not in my league, so therefore I'm going to push you down, and I'm not going to support you. You know what I mean? And listen, no one's saying, oh, start dropping money in Cash App and start being at every show. You know what I mean? But, like, you know, if there's 5 people to a venue, whatever, you know, just take some time, talk to the artists, you know, talk to other artists for a couple seconds, exchange Instagrams, nothing, I mean, nothing super personal. Just say, hey, listen, you know what? I heard something, like, you know, if you take time to hear something, whatever, or just say, hey, listen, I appreciate you coming here, you know, whatever. Hey, maybe we can do something after the show, or, you know, or even a simple, hey, break a leg out there, whatever. You know, just like that kind of energy really is missing when it comes to, like, in, you know, of course, everything pre-pandemic, of course, you know, it's like you would go out there, and like you said, it's either the ride or dies, or it's somebody who's just really stoic in the corner, and it's like, oh, so it's like, you know, and I feel like because there's no middle ground, this is why it's so, like, cutthroat on Staten Island more so than anywhere else, because, like, I find it amazing how, like, when it comes to music industry, how, like, places like Brooklyn and the Bronx, they're pushing artists out like crazy, and you see how we've had, like, the rise of, like, Pop Smoke and 504 and stuff like that, and it's like Brooklyn will get behind one person because they understand that they're trying to build up where they're at, and it's like Staten Island, it's like we have not pushed anybody of, like, you know, who was, like, I don't know, like.
And even people who are popping from Staten Island aren't even, like, claiming Staten Island.
That's the thing. Like,
it's like they'll claim Brooklyn. It's like they lived there for, like, 2 years when they were born, and they'll claim Brooklyn before they claim Staten Island.
Or as soon as they make it, they just say, I'm from New York. Which you know, which we all know, okay, that means that's it. You know what I mean? So it's very like I don't know, and I understand why they do it, because they're like, well, why am I going to show support to a place that never showed? You know what I mean? So it's like, okay,
that never showed me support.
Right.
And it's like it's the forgotten borough is one thing, and then it's like now we're literally just abandoning pieces of ourselves. Like, for the people that are doing that, it's like spiting themselves in a way, because it's like you're abandoning yourself when you're not being like completely transparent, and like you are from somewhere, and you know, to be vague and say New York City is like a cop out. It's like, you know, just say where you're from, and like, and let's help amplify and like show the other lights of Staten Island. It's like every time I tell anyone I'm from Staten Island from someone who's not from Staten Island, I feel like I'm constantly having to defend Staten Island instantly right after that.
Sure.
You know,
That's
and
true.
the first thing I always say is like the creative community. Boom. Like that's literally the first thing I always say. I was like, yeah, but what they don't catch on camera is the creative community. But you know, things that they have been doing, like shout out to Gatekeep. He was out on TV for his poem. So that was great. That was great publicity for Staten Island. That was like super exciting and super awesome. Like, sure. and he's just talking about Staten Island, talking about the facts of Staten Island. So that was just really, really beautiful.
You know, I had no idea tennis started here.
Me neither.
Yo, right? I feel so uneducated. I was like, yo, for real?
Like that's like, first of all, that's so random.
Like tennis,
like,
tennis is huge. Like
tennis is like a huge thing.
I thought it was like overseas, because you know, like almost everything's overseas. But I was like, when you said it was here, I was like, okay. I learned something. All right.
It's crazy. Yeah, DualiTEA said that too. Like she like said it the other day. Girl on the Rock, CJ Girl on the Rock. She had said that the other day. And repeated. I was like, oh wow, yeah. Like I just like had a moment where I was just like, you know,
yeah, like something major.
Really here. Like, I mean, not that, but I think I've like tried to play tennis once at like one of those recreational settings.
Of course.
But like, you know, shout out to tennis and it being from here. You know.
You know, like there's value here, and it, you know, and it's really about just kind of keeping the value. You know, like I mean, keeping it here, not in the sense of depriving the world from it, but keeping it here so we can kind of like elevate. You know what I mean? Saying like, listen, you know, hey, this is homegrown from here. You know, like it's kind of like if you want it from here, because we go everywhere else. You know what I mean? You want. Let's say you want West Indian food, right? You know you can only go to Brooklyn, or you're going to go to a certain place because you know you got to get it from there, right? They built that platform up so that you always know, if I want good West Indian food, I have to go here. Like, we have to make something that's like, if you want this from Staten Island, you have to go here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And there's so much culture. There's so many different spaces on Staten Island, places, people, ethnicities, like just everything that we can do that here. Like we absolutely can. It's just about making the space like and just amplifying what already is, because there's plenty of places like, you know, a lot of people would talk about like really good Jamaican food not being on Staten Island. And it's like, shout out to Blaze. Like Blaze Jamaican food is incredible. That's on Staten Island.
And what's that place on Bay Street? SI Fish.
SI Fish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's about. Oh my God. Oh. Yo, I had some fish and grits. Oh my God. I can still taste it. Like, you know, I'm fat, y'all, so forgive me. But like, yo, I can still taste that food, and I was like, dang, I need some more. That's
like I said, we just like to eat. We don't like.
Yeah, for real.
We just like to eat. You know, listen, food is a.
I gotta come down the weight though, you know. But you know, I can't leave with that. That shrimp, I had some shrimp. I was, oh my God.
Yeah, I don't like seafood, but like I appreciate people that do and like their love for it, because it's always like a deep love for it. But like
it really is.
Everyone
really
in my family says that I'm like crazy for it. I don't know why. I just don't. It's a texture thing. But yeah, like, you know, there's Campo Veo, which is a Dominican spot over on Broad Street. That's incredible. You know, get you muri soñando. It tastes amazing.
Oh, the one on Forest, right? Yeah.
The one there's the one on Forest.
Yeah.
That was so good. That's a look.
Girl, yeah.
That one sounds so. I used to go to school on South and Forest. Right. I was in a work study program, and that every day the $5 little.
Of course, yeah.
Packed out. I don't know what that one's called, but just trust us. There's a Dominican. Oh, it's literally called Dominican food. Period.
Right? Is it? Yeah.
It's right next to that. What is it? The pool table. What is that called?
Joe Broadway's.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's like right next to there.
Joe,
that's it. Okay, yeah. Delicious.
I know. Delicious. Yeah, let me tell you. I'm from the Bronx, so I have definitely like had good Spanish food. But like, yo, that place over here consistently hits. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah.
I haven't been there in a while. I actually like low key want to go there after this. We'll see.
I might listen. What you want to? Yeah. But
I'm like, it's been a minute. I'm like,
It's time to make that trip.
you cannot get wrong. Yeah, it's so good. But yeah, it's like we just this podcast is now about food instead. Now, in case
I'm
you
sorry
need
if
to
you
know.
came for the deep talk. We're talking about food.
Yeah, now it's important. We need to talk about food, which is also the creative community. People who make food, that's still a whole creation. You're creating food. You know, that's important. Mm-hmm. We need that stuff, right?
Facts. Yeah, right. You know, yeah, we do.
For sure. Shout out to Amira's Cafe. She's also incredible. Latina-owned business, little cafe over on Van Duzer. That one is incredible. Like, I get my tea from there all the time. Shout out to Bloom Cafe as well. That's where we got this tea from right now. Yeah, like everything from Amira's is incredible. I go there like all the time. The only reason I didn't go there this morning to pick it up is because they're closing down. They're making like the outside installation. Oh, okay. So I mean, but it was cool because now I got to try another business, which is another cafe. And shout out to them. They I got to call them, and I was like, hey, can I put this order in on the phone, because I moved and I used to be down the block from Hub, and now I'm like not down the block from Hub, so I had to time that out. But trial and error. But yeah. I'm trying to think of any other food before we get off this topic.
Oh God. Oh, shoot.
There's so many. El Gallo Azteca, authentic Mexican food. It's incredible. The green sauce. El Gallo Azteca is right on Victory. It's like Victory right over by Bay. Do you know where Blaze is? Have you been to Blaze?
Yeah.
Directly across the street from that. Yeah, like directly across the street. So there's Blaze, there's that the Mexican cafe, and like the bakery, and then across the street is El Gallo Azteca. Okay. Yeah, it's really good.
Well, the more you know.
Really, yeah. You gotta get the sauce of it. Like the green sauce. I ask for the large one because I just use that on everything for the rest of the week.
You like me, yo. If I get something and that sauce is hitting, that's going on. That's going on the baked chicken tomorrow. That's everything.
I eat literally as a vehicle for sauce. Like, it's crazy. Like, straight up. Like, shout out to my sister for creating that sentence. I love sauce. Like, that's just great. Oh my God, I just tried this place. It's called 99 Tastes on New York Lane. It's a Korean barbecue and a ramen spot. I tried, I tried it the other day. That was really, really good. That was cool.
That's the word of the day, y'all. Ramen. You serious?
I'm so serious. There's like a bunch of ramen spots in New York.
I only know the one in the mall, in the food court in the mall.
There's another one over by like IHOP. There's another one over there. Oh, shout out to Umi. That used to be Mayako. I go there every year on my birthday since I was like little. And that's an authentic Japanese hibachi place. Shout out to Umi for sure. IHOP is chained, so like we're not gonna. It's like that's.
Of course.
The people that work there are so nice, though. I have a great experience almost every time I go there. So shout out to you guys. Definitely. I don't know about any other, but we could make another episode. We could make a list.
That's true.
Of like different restaurants.
We could say it exactly and just shout out like the best plates from there ever. I'm down for that.
Even like the different cultures, different spaces, like if you want like or the types of food, whatever it is. Like at Amira's Cafe, she has like a little bit of everything where it's like essentially what you would get from different Latino countries and like different Latin style foods. Like someone's grandmother would make this recipe. She likes to have it like that, and like she shifts around in the menu. She also has like the birria tacos, the dip in the stuff.
Okay,
you know what I'm talking about? Those like famous taco things. Yeah, they're good. But
girl, you get me hungry.
I'm so hungry. I'm literally salivating this entire time. We just dedicated.
Oh my God.
Dedicate so much time. Last thing, my favorite. It's a party, Kenny? I did that?
I think that was
with my mind?
No. That's the word of the day. You said something. It was the word of the day. And that's
I was about to just talk about bagels. That's crazy. What is it? Oh, Bagels Are Us. Best bagels on Staten Island, in my opinion, personally. It's like
Is that okay? Oh, okay. Listen. Y'all know when it's that quiet silence, that means it hits on a spiritual level. The bagels hit on a spiritual level. Listen, I've had food that's hit me on that level, and it's like, oh my god, like you know, what I mean?
It's just so good. It's crazy.
Like you sit there and you just go back in time, and it's like, oh my god, like damn. Yeah, I know.
For real. Yeah. So back to the creative community competition.
We got
So how do we better, like, how do we, like, you know, what we have the awareness, you know, of what's going on in the community, you know, how do we amplify, you know, we listed all of the food spots and things like that. That's true. Oh, you know, even like the other creative centers, you know, like shout out Fort Willow and We Just Working, you know, shout out from hey Ash. Oh, Heartland too? Okay. Is that the one? That's the one over by the mall, I think.
They ain't got bacon though. Oh.
Sorry to hear that. If you're listening.
If
you're listening, Heartland, you know.
Yeah. I need that
like,
bacon though.
Yeah, it's like I try not to have it, but then I do because it's bacon.
Premium bacon, egg, and cheese.
Pray over it, you know. Alchemize it. I thank the pig.
Right.
I'm dead serious. I'm so dead ass.
Listen, when the bacon come out extra crispy, you know, I'm praying. You know,
I can't eat bacon if it's not extra crispy because it's just like I can't like that.
If it tastes like gum. Is that exactly? You see, you already know your face. I'm telling you, it's like when you chewing, it's like.
It's like I am so mad I made this decision and that this happened. It's just too. It's like
it's wet.
Meat shouldn't have that consistency when it's on a breakfast. I don't know. I just personally don't like things that like. I have a texture thing, and that kind of reminds me of like a seafood texture. It's like, why do I have a seafood texture on a land animal right now?
Oh my god. No. Crazy. I feel that.
We just keep going back to food.
I know.
We're just like.
We need to better the community.
Oh, and they're a Jewish community too, so that's cool. You know, now we know. Oh, you love gummy bacon. You know, now we know the people have preferences. I like crispy bacon.
Listen.
Yeah, crispy. Yeah. I'm always like, please, extra crispy. You know, please. And like
that bacon got to be bottom of the oven, like forgotten
like,
about.
That's what I need. That's what I need. I want it to fall into pieces. I want it to be dust when I touch it.
Yo, like, exactly. Girl, like when Thanos snapped everybody away, that's how I need that bacon just falling off the. That's how I need it. I'm telling you. Listen. We on the same wavelength. I need it.
No, for real though. Yeah. That's hysterical. I'm like, I can't get off of food now. I'm just so hungry. I'm just like, yeah. So
we can do this.
We got this. We got this. All right. We have brownies staring us in the face too.
That's true. That's true. We have brownies from this amazing place. Thank you so much.
We should take a pause, have a piece of brownie. I think that will help, and then we can get back into it. You know what I'm saying? I think.
Oh my god.
We have a piece of brownie, and then I feel like we'll be okay. It's good. It's gluten free and dairy free. It's a vegan brownie.
And it tastes good.
Which is hard to do, to have a vegan anything and make it taste good. You know, it takes a lot of effort. I feel like, unless it's just naturally vegetables.
True.
But anything else, like. Okay. And we're back.
We're back. I think we're centered. Mm-hmm. Hopefully.
I think so. It helped.
It helped.
It definitely helped.
I'm just praying the bacon don't creep up in the thing.
I know, it's right here.
And
then I say it again. It's like,
and then I say it. I can't.
All right. We got this. We got this. So.
Okay. Bettering the community.
Yeah. So it's like, okay. Right. Oh, something that was coming up in my mind before is like, you know, something that will naturally happen as like human beings, right? There could be a jealousy aspect that happens when you see someone doing something that you want to do. Right. So let's acknowledge real feelings. Like, let's talk about it, right? Let's not pretend this doesn't happen within each and every one of us. And the more that we acknowledge things, the more we can be freed from them. So if you see someone doing something that you want to do, and like your mind creates this construct of like competition, when you notice it and you acknowledge it, like, oh wow, like there could be someone at a show and like looking at somebody, you know, like, oh, okay, oh, look at this person doing this, like I could do it better, and like that energy, although you're not saying it, it's felt one way or another. And, you know, especially if it's like a very sensitive person, they'll feel it and they won't want to be near you. It's like something that happens.
I've seen,
And you just know, and you can read it. Like some people can read it. Like if I feel, I'll feel that. Like I'll know, and then I'll either, I try not to just straight out say it because I feel like that's like very intense. Or I'll just act accordingly, whatever I need to do. Because I'm not a person, I'm not good at playing fake or anything. Like it's just very much so on my face if I'm not fucking with something. Like it's just very much so there, and I don't even try to hide it because it's just not my energy to do that. So my point of bringing that up is whenever you start to feel that feeling, remind yourself that you will do the things you do, but right now you're at wherever you are, you're looking at whoever it is to support, you know, and to show love. And the more, it's like a candle doesn't go out by lighting another candle. Like your flame is still there glowing. So you don't need to compare. The comparison is like just, it's toxic.
It's the enemy. Comparison is the enemy.
It really is.
Because it just, I don't know, like, you know, because I'm a photographer, I'm a videographer, and I see people who do tremendous work. And, you know, like, I feel like you really got to have it. I mean, look, there is healthy competition in which, like, see, how I quote unquote compete is I say, okay, this person is better, right? I want to learn, right? I'm more of like if I see somebody better, I'm trying to figure out, like, not to steal your lane. I just want to know, like, okay, like, how are you advancing in this? Because if I'm editing my pictures like this, and you know how to do pictures like this, I want to get like you. That's my thing. Like,
and that takes humility. That takes humility.
Yeah.
That's which is getting into the ego aspect. Like that you have to surrender to that aspect and be like, wow, like, you know, like even saying to somebody, like even just having the courage to look at somebody and be like, wow, you really inspire me.
Right.
Like, is there any pointers that you have? It's like, you won't lose anything by telling somebody that you inspire them or like that they inspire you. You know, it's like the first episode that I put onto this podcast when I started doing it by myself is called Homage. And the whole thing is I never have an issue with anybody when they pay homage. Because if you're paying homage, like, okay, say, like, I had an idea. I shared it with you or you've seen it from me. Or, like, I had a tattoo. And, like, you're like, oh, my God, I love that tattoo so much. It resonates with me so deeply. But then you, like, just go and get it. And you don't say it. And it's the exact same tattoo. And you know that you got it from me. That's the only access that you had. Like, that's when I get a little frustrated because it's like you're not acknowledging me and my ancestors and my spirit guides and everything of me that got me to that point.
Right.
Even if it's as simple as a tattoo, it could be something else. Like it could be your work. It could be, oh, okay, I'm doing a documentary or a series, and it was inspired by this and all of my teachers and all this stuff. And like somebody goes and tries to do the same thing. It's like, if someone just acknowledged and be like, hey, I'm inspired by you. Like, is it okay if I did something like this? Or like even just that acknowledgement completely like equalizes any animosity, because it's like it's respect, it's honor, you know. It's like rather than everybody trying to take something and then being like, yo, I did this original, like no, you didn't. Like, you know that. Like,
you know, I just feel like, yeah, no, I honestly, to like in a perfect world, like that's really how it should be. It, you know, if you're gonna build off of someone else's, you know, like, because everybody is building a foundation off of someone else, you know. It's just important that you respect that fact and you be like, okay, listen, I know you did this and I'm acknowledging that you were the first person to come from this. However, this hits me in a different way, like you said. So therefore I'm not trying to steal from you. I would definitely credit you, but you know that I'm shaping it to be uniquely my own.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's just about being honest, being real, being transparent, and having the courage to be vulnerable. Like when you're acknowledging, like, hey, you know, I'm inspired by someone. Then you don't have the, you know, ego. Your ego might be like, nah, you're inspired by you. Like you create this. Like you actually. Doing that creates a safe environment to someone be like, yo, like, I want to create, like, I'm excited. I'm so excited that I inspired you. This is what inspired me. And now you open up a door and a conversation for you to expand even more on. And it's like, I feel like that's a big thing that can be missing in the community, is just being honest and giving homage and, like, knowing what you're doing while you're doing it. It's just like, if people are just doing things to pop off and they don't even know why, like, and this goes in any area, any kind of art, any kind of anything, you know, because everything could be art in its own right. And it's like, if you don't know why you're doing something, or if you're simply doing something because you want the money or you want the fame or you want whatever it is, like that carries on and into everything that you're doing. So it's like, when you get the money and you get the fame, what are you going to do with it? Sure. Like, what are you going to do with it? And like, you know, it's good for everybody. I feel like I highly recommend everybody to think about what it is that you would do if you got everything that you've been wishing for, and how it could benefit not only you, but others, you know. And because once we get clear on that, then you embody that, and then that's good. Like, you know, it's like people, like small businesses, people around me, people that do all these different things. Like, I love giving them money. I love giving them gifts. I love doing things in support of them. Like, it's like when you feel someone's genuinity, like sure, their sincerity, like you want it. I'm like, here, take everything. You're great. Like, I love you. Like, I met you 5 minutes ago, but you're incredible, you know, and it's such a heartwarming space.
Like, I mean, I see, like, you know, and it's funny because, like, that's kind of what we talked about before. It's like being the person, you know, that, like, you wish was there for you when you were starting, you know? Yeah. Like, I mean, well, I don't like to say try because, you know, try always sounds like you're putting on a front for it. Like, you know, I am just genuine, you know, like I can finally say that, you know, with a bit of confidence to say, you know, like, listen, when people do talk to me, you know, I'm not, you know, out the gate, I'm not trying to like scam you, or I'm not trying to put you down or have strings attached. Cause you know, like everybody had, you know, and it's unfortunate how we live, but everybody has to think on their feet, and they're like, oh, you know, okay, I'm collabing with this person, but you know, do they own rights to this? What's happened? What's happened? That? And like me, I'm like, especially me, because it comes to music. I'm like, listen, look, I tell them, here's how it goes. You own your music. That's your music. Okay. I'm just here to platform you. I'm just here to showcase you. And I know, you know, a lot of people are, you know, are very skeptical of that, because they're like, no one is just like you. You know what I mean? Like no one's gonna just, like, no one puts people on for no reason. And I'm just one of those guys. Like I just like to do that because, like, I just want to see everybody win. You know, everybody says that, but they don't really mean it. But I really do. Like, you know, a lot of people with my show, I'm like, hey, listen, right? If you send me your music or whatever, or I hear from you and I think you're cool, like, I'll just.
Well, you can see it with your actions. You can see it with your actions. You can see it with your show, and like, just like when you are genuine, when you are authentically in your truth and speaking from a heart-based place, like, you don't even have to say it. It's a felt, you know, like. We say it because it's such a foreign thing, you know, so sometimes it needs to just be like acknowledged, right? But it's like, that's why, you know, there's the saying, like, as cliche as it is, but like, real recognize real, like, you feel that, you know why you gravitate towards some people, and you know why you don't gravitate towards some people. And that's what it is. And like we were even talking about, it's not even to be selective of like who to have on our shows or anything. It's just working with people that resonate, you know. It's like, I'm not going to have, you know, this podcast is about finding balance within everything, you know, finding balance within ourselves, within these different topics that we talk about, and just being completely transparent, just being real, just being authentic, coming on and just being vulnerable, having a safe space for you to be you, for me to be me. And, you know, because I have a platform to a podcast, like, so many people have asked me, like, hey, can I come on your podcast? And it's like, well, what do you want to talk about? And then they don't have anything in particular to talk about. They just want to be on the podcast because they feel like they have the right, because they know me, or they knew me for a certain amount of time, or like, and I'm like, I love you, but like, nah, you know, like,
yo, I love you, but nah, yo, I'm taking that one with me.
For real. Like, I love you, but like, nah, like, come to me when you're sure of something, when you are like, this feels right, when it's not just for you and for your ego, come back. Because I'm open to it. Like, usually how it ends up happening, how I end up picking people to come on the show, it's like, I see somebody who's doing something, usually that wouldn't necessarily want to be on a podcast, who's probably doing something similar in a different area or like niche, right? And like, and I'm like, I see you. Like, I just, like, I see you, and I'll be like, I see you. And I just like, boom, like, it's like, you know, I'm like a cat, like, I see in the dark, and I feel that very deeply, where it's like, when I see people that are doing and having that similar energy of like where we're all coming from, I'm like, oh yeah, come come get your credit. You deserve it. Sit down and like get to look back and hear this and watch this and appreciate yourself for all the work that you do, and give yourself the same medicine and support that you give other people. You know, like you're over there amplifying other people. Like now I get to amplify you.
Yeah.
Here you are sitting here doing all this work in a good way for yourself and the community. You know, and like you deserve to be heard, seen, and like loved and respected. It's a beautiful thing. And this is how, you know, we create a better community is like, rather than waiting for people to just step up and be the people we needed, we're doing that.
Right.
We're doing that. We're like, you know, we are the people that we needed. We're putting people on. Like if we see people struggling or something going on or questions that people have, we're like, hey, I have some time, you know, for you to do that. Like if you want to open that, expand more, like, and that's how we're doing it. And it's like that, hopefully even with this conversation and shining light on that, like it encourages the people who are already doing it to continue to, because it definitely gets difficult and could be defeating when, you know, you lose sight of why you're doing what you're doing. Because like when you're like trying to help everyone and you're like getting shit on or like stomped on, and it's like, you're like, oh, why am I doing this? But it's like, oh, I'm doing this for everybody. I'm doing this for myself and for everybody. I'm doing this for the younger version of me who wanted to do so many things but didn't even know where to start because I was so scared and overwhelmed. Absolutely. You know, and I'm doing it for the scared part of me that doesn't want to do this stuff, that would rather just be at home like doing whatever, and instead I'm getting up and I'm doing this and I'm creating this safe container, because the more that we embody who we need to be, the more we give that safe space for others to do the same. And that's like, yeah. Yeah.
No, that girl, you killed it. I mean, like, you see, I don't even know what to say, because like you explained it all. It's like that's such a big thing for me. It's just, you know, it's being, you know, because you know what it is, because like somebody gave me a chance, and that's why I do it. You know, I mean, you know, and it's not to say that I wouldn't do it if nobody did, but the whole point is like, you know, like how I got into the music game, stuff like that. Is, you know, somebody looked at me, like, because for example, I think I have about like 1,000 something followers now, which is, you know, which is pretty cool. But like, you know, the group that I was with, they took me at like 600 followers, right? Complete, nobody on Instagram, right? And they kind of just took me and said, hey, you know, listen, if you're good, right, and we like you, and you can handle deadlines, stuff like that, we'll keep calling you. And they just kept calling me, and then now we're here, you know. So like I feel like it's, you know, a lot of success stories are definitely you know, are by people who just look back, like the simple act of just turning your hand and saying, hey, I'm not going to just walk through the door and close it behind me. And that's what a lot of people do. Yeah, no, and whether it's higher or if it's lower space, like, you know, like how we're doing, like, you know, just the simple act of just being like, hey, like, come with me, you know, like, if it's not the right path for you, fine, but like, I'm still going to pull you here so you can at least see.
I'm still going to leave that door open so you can see the glimpse of what it is beyond this threshold. Right, because it may not be time for you to be here yet, but at least you can see, so you have an idea. Okay, I know, so when I am ready, I know what to look for. Yep. And even something as simple as that is important, just to let people see a better life, a better version of themselves. You know, to have the emotional awareness and like the empathy and just the good morality to even think that way is so important. You know, like and it's so important to amplify these ways of thinking rather than like a dog eat dog, like rat race, step on this person to get here, do this to get there type energy that we see in New York all the time, that we see in Staten Island all the time, that we see in the music industry, the creative community, whatever it is, you know, that it doesn't have to be that space, and it could be supportive. Like there's room for support for everybody. If you don't resonate someone, you can still respect them. Like if you don't resonate with someone's work, you can still respect them, but you don't have to be there being like, I'm your number one fan. Like, that's just lying, you know? Like,
that's true.
You can just like, okay, when you see them, like, okay, you know, respect. I'm happy that this person, like, there's plenty of people that do things like that are in like a similar field of mine that like I don't necessarily like resonate with. Like I love everybody, you know, but I don't like everybody. That's the truth. That's the reality, you know? Of course. And like, there's certain people that I do resonate with and that I don't, but like those people, when they're out there doing like something that is good, like I have respect for what they're doing. Doesn't mean I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm here and I'm supportive, but like if somebody needs a reference for something that they're doing, I'm not going to not say something. I'm going to be like, hey, this person does this, you know, like I don't really talk to them, but if you resonate with them, you can go do that.
Honestly, even doing that, like, it is powerful. Because I mean, I know a lot of people is like, well, if I can't make the money, then no one can. And that's a very dangerous mindset. Is, you know, like, like if somebody can do better than me, and I know them, or like, I'm like, listen, get your money, get your, what people say now, get your flowers. You know what I mean? When it comes to, like, it's like I will just plug you because I'll say, listen, hey, look, he can do it better than me. You know what I mean? I'm okay on this level, but I know what you're looking for, and I know this person can do it for you.
Yeah.
Something simple as that.
It's just like plugging each other in. There's always going to be a person that specializes in these like niche things that people are going to need, you know? Like I have no problem ever recommending anybody who's like doing like tarot cards or anything that I do. And I'm like, oh, hey, like, boom, go here. Like, even like, you know, other people that do podcasts and stuff. I'm like, oh, you know, if you want to, like, you know, here I could teach you a little bit of what I know, but you can maybe ask this person or like, you know, it's you, and that's what's beautiful. And like on the opposite spectrum. So we talked about what, you know, how it is for the people that like aren't kind of doing that. Shout out to Hub, because Hub has been one of the only places and spaces that I've been in the creative community that is doing that support. Yeah. You know, like you have someone like Lori Love that is out here, and hey Gina, and you have someone like Lori Love that's out here that's like supporting everybody like all the time, like in a really good way, just like aggressively supporting and with the utmost love. She could be doing 17 things at once and like she'll still be on. I know she's probably here watching this, you know, like this is just, and she'll do that for all the people that in which she resonates with. And like, you know, she also does things and curates things. She's an artist. You know, we have DualiTEA that's also super supportive, like super hype woman. You know, we have all of us just coming in here and just like hyping each other up. And it's like, even if you don't know each other or if you haven't heard of each other, the moment that you do, it becomes that, you know, like the moment I knew that like, oh, you're here and this is the thing you do, I'm like, wow, this is dope, like follow, boom, okay, like boom, you know. And it's just like these little things. How can you support? By liking, by sharing, by, you know, amplifying these things that you like and the people that you like. It's very simple, you know. And just because you do something doesn't mean that you can't post it, you know. If I do Reiki, doesn't mean I can't post a Reiki practitioner offering something because she is doing the same thing as me. Right. I have no reason to be afraid. At the end of the day, I'm always going to eat because I know that I have good intention. I know I have purity in my heart, and that everything that I do is for not only myself, but for the collective. And as long as I keep that going, like this, I'm always going to attract that like. So I'm not concerned on that. Right. Like no one will ever be me, you know, and that's so when you have that core self of who you are, you don't have to be shooken by like anybody doing anything that's similar to you. And so if you ever feel like you know, obviously it takes one to know one. So there's different points in life that like I've felt differently or had more insecurities in different aspects. And that's why I'm able to understand and discern the different topics in what you were talking about as well. And it's like, so for anybody who's listening that has those moments, like please give yourself time to acknowledge, like once you realize these invasive thoughts of like, nah, I could do that better. Nah, blah, 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 like whatever it is, and you know someone's just out here doing something good and pure from their heart. That's true. Acknowledge the thought and like forgive yourself. Be like, always. No, I'm okay. Nah, it's okay. Like, I'm sorry. I'm gonna support this person. I don't have to put this person down to make me feel better. Right. Period. Acknowledge the thoughts. Talk to yourself however you need to talk to yourself, but acknowledge it for existing, or else it's just gonna be dismissing. I won't do that. So.
Girl, you dropped the mic on that. I can support somebody without putting them down. Yeah. Like, you know, it's... Yeah, no, listen. You know, look, we live in New York, so, like, we know what it's like. We know how it is, but there's got to be more people. I mean, and there's got to be more people like us who are like, listen, we understand that there's competition, and we get it, right? Competition leads to better things. You know what I mean? iPhone makes this and Samsung makes this, and they keep trying to outdo each other, but the consumer wins. Well, not my wallet though, because I'm paying $1,000 for a phone. But the point is that, you know, you win because they're trying to do better, trying to get better features. That's how we need to be. You know, we need to keep trying to, like, the healthy competition. It needs to be, okay, listen, I want to do like you, and it's like, no, I want to do like you. So that way we kind of build. So that way when we get out there, now it's like, okay, everybody sounds great now because we're all doing the whole. I mean. You know, because we're all doing the whole healthy, you know, I know there's a better word for it, not healthy competition. I know there's probably a better word for it, but it's just like that. It's like the breeding what's it, like a camp or something like that? I don't know what they call it. Like, you know, we need like a whole artist camp where we kind of just get together, you know. And Hub is definitely like one of those spaces where you can do that at. But like we need more places to follow like the Hub example. You know what I mean? We need more spots where it's like where people like, because like we are the generation that is, you know, because like never before, right? We were here before the internet really got popping, you know what I mean? And now it is like, and we're watching people who were born in the same year as us or around us, and they become millionaires. Yep. And it's like, you know what? We can do that. You know what I mean? We're choosing more entrepreneurial stuff, you know, instead of traditional jobs. You know, from what I read, you know. So, and I believe it. Like, my timeline is full of, I got hairdressers, I got photographers, and they are all dope and amazing people. Yeah. And they deserve to be respected, you know, and they deserve to be heard. But I feel like we need more spaces. We need more people like us who can, like, you know.
There used to be these like community meets. There was something like the mixers that were like that. I mean,
pre-COVID stuff where like they would say, hey,
here's the mixers.
Come here,
cards on the table.
Yo, that used to happen for photography, man. They used to be like. It used to be like Central Park meetup. We got like 4 models here. Just come, just shoot, and we'll talk strategy. Like, we need more of those.
What do we do? What is the topic of this whole podcast? You know, we got to be the people, right? So maybe we could work on something that when, you know, where it's like in a park or something where we can be like a creative support circle.
Listen, don't play because I'm down.
I'm so down. I'm down. That's what I'm saying. Live right here.
For anybody who's watching, all right, I am down for that. Like, you know, you. Like,
I used to do like a little like empaths. What was it? Empaths Anonymous. I used to do where it's like empaths, like you know, a community space where we can just talk. So even like doing that, where it's like we can have a space where we can support and amplify and network. Obviously safe and like socially distant, and like we can do it at a park, which is beautiful. We can just be grounded and like out somewhere. Or, like even Hub, we can do it outside. It depends on the size of people. If it's like a bunch of people, we obviously need to be in an outside space. But if it's like, you know, a smaller group of people, then we can see, you know, we can also maybe do it here. We'll figure it out, but we'll talk. You know, for everybody who's listening, stay tuned. On that, we'll do a creative support group. Or however, whatever we'll call it.
I like the sound of that,
yeah, like actually support Staten.
Right.
Creatives here. Like, we'll play around. We'll think about
definitely,
it.
We'll shopping.
So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having
me. Like, this has been awesome. This is a really great episode. I'm very excited
I'm coming back for that food review.
Yeah. No, we gotta make like we'll make like a little PDF of like the different places that we recommend that we also
need at least like 10 minutes on bacon alone and like how it needs to be done.
We can maybe do. I'm just putting this out there.
Okay.
We can maybe go like have a day. I don't know. There's a lot of food. There's a lot of places, but we can like have like taste tests. You know what I'm saying? We can let them know that we're supporting them.
Oh, okay.
Right? Mm-hmm. Go there, like, be like, hey, we're going to put you on this so that they know that they're going to be on this so that they can also share it and be like, hey, we're going to put you on here. Right. And then also, like, we get, like, a little, like, appetizer from each place. We go, like, that day.
Girl, you had me at food. Yeah, I ain't hear nothing else. You had me at food.
I think that's a good idea. So we're gonna so stay tuned for our food. Staten Island, support your food, your creative food. I don't know. I don't have anything else right now for that.
Support the food because I'm trying to eat everything.
Yes.
So you already know.
Supporting that. Supporting our creative culinary community. Absolutely. And then we can also like make that list like every time we have the support group of like, here is the photographers, here is videographers, and then this is their niche like part. This is what what they focus on, right?
Yes.
And it's like, okay, here is a Reiki practitioner or a musician that this musician is like more into like trap, or like this person is pause. I do need to acknowledge something. I uncovered this Portuguese trap music yesterday about Naruto. It's called Timo not Hashirama, Tobirama. Timo Tobirama by, I think it's MH Rap. I will post it. It is so good. It's crazy. I've been listening to it. I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. But then I looked it up and he's spitting. Like he's saying crazy. He's like, he's talking a lot of shit about the Uchihas. Like, I mean, naturally Tobirama, but like, It's so good. And I just needed to tell you guys that because it's on my mind. It's on my heart. It's really important to me.
Yeah, you gotta link me to that. Yeah,
I will play it as soon as we get off this live, and like it is so good. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah. And shout out to Momo Art for this Kakashi hand painted on a thrift sweater. You know, shout out to you. I will post you in here as a link. Thank you. I love that it's on a thrifted sweater too. I believe she's from Canada. Like she's incredible, super sweetheart, incredibly talented. And to Bejuco Arts, to Maya and Alexis for this beautiful earring. And I'm like, what else can I shout out? Shout out to Rengai's Rock for this beautiful crystal. Local crystal dealer, if you need, gets from incredibly amazing sources. And yeah, like it's very integral. You know, everything that we get into and start like purchasing and stuff, we should always make sure that they're integral, coming from a good space, you know, and like giving back to wherever it is that they're sourcing things.
You know what would be dope though? What you said gave me an idea. So like, imagine this, and I'll keep it quick. Yeah. Like imagine a fashion showcase, right? But every person makes something on the person's body. So the shoes come from this creator. The pants come from this person to show you. Imagine, just imagine that. See, like, you know,
that would be dope.
Yeah, like I mean, like just imagine how that could, because you know you got your fashion week, and you know it's always like, but like imagine just like people, just regular people making it stuff, because I feel like they care more. You know what I mean?
I think like models are great, like in like the classic idea of models, but I love models that are just all shapes, sizes, and looks. Like too, like just have everybody like
I'm super down. Yeah,
like that's like I'm down. Yeah, absolutely. There's also somebody else now that makes rugs that are like fire. It's called Fan of the Hype, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Like I want to get one of the rug with my logo on it. I want to do that soon. That would be really cool. But yeah, so we're gonna make lists for you guys, and we're gonna create the community group. And yeah, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening live if you did, or for listening on any of the streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the other places, YouTube. Thank you guys so much for, you know, being with us and having tea with us this morning, and being you, and hope that everything, you know, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. You're appreciated. We'll be here next week, same time, same place. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.